At the top of your screen, you see the equations that are given. Generally speaking, the first equation is just assumed you know. The others have to be given to you. We substitute all the variables in except for gt. That gives us this equation on the second level. Then we want to get it so that on the right hand side are only either numbers, lagged variables, for example yt minus 1, or exogenous variables like government spending. So we add 0.6 yt to both sides and combine the numbers, we get this equation. Then we will divide both sides by 1.6 because we don't want any numbers on the left-hand side. That gives us this equation here. This bottom equation is the equation that we will be using when we plot it. Now we get into Excel and we have time, gt, and yt. Time has to start in the past because of the yt minus 1. Since there's one lag, this can be -1, then 0. gt is given as 240. Yt from the past has to be given to you. Let's assume that that's 1000. Then here we have the formula. So this is going to equal 0.5 times yt minus 1, which is yt from the previous. Forgot the star. Yt minus 1 plus parentheses 5 divided by 8 times the current gt plus 200. We hit enter. That gives us the current value. We will then use this equation, and I made that too big. Let me just enlarge that. If we take these two, highlight that, and drag and click this down, it continues it. Here what I will do is say equals the previous number. That way when we copy this down by dragging it, it will change everything, and when we change it later, it will continue with whatever the new variable is. Copy this formula down as well, and we get that value. If we copy all of this, hit Control C, then hit Control V, and we change how much government spending changes in year 0 to 300, you notice GDP goes up. The short run multiplier equals the change in y, which is that the new y minus the old y, divided by the change in government, which is the new g minus the old g. Note, you have to have the parentheses, otherwise it will not calculate correctly. That's a short run multiplier. The long run multiplier is done the same way, except uses the bottom numbers. So this is going to equal the new y minus the old y divided by the new g minus the old g. Notice it's greater. If we do a temporary change so that this number goes back to 240, you end up with the multiplier is undefined because the change in G is undefined, so this really should be here F4, F3 minus B3. Should be a B. Notice it's basically 0 because short-term changes have no long-term effects. Where if we change this back to 300, the long-run multiplier goes back up.